Sometimes people just look for a smartphone that just works, nothing flashy. Sometimes people just look for just the basics, nothing special, just the basics. Sometimes people look for a smartphone that doesn't break the bank. I like that. Look, I've worked in the past with a company called NUU Mobile, and they have bought in unique devices at a very good price. So in today's video, I'm reviewing the NUU Mobile N10. This $99 phone brings in style, uniqueness, and everything else in between with a ground-blowing feature that I really do love. So let's have some fun. Sit back, relax, and get your popcorn ready and follow me on this journey. Let's go. So the NUU N10 has a 6.6-inch HD plus 90 Hz display. Now it has a Unisoc T606 processor with 4 gigs of RAM that can be expanded up to 8 gigs of RAM using RAM Plus. It has 128 gigs of storage with SD card support. Now, as far as the cameras, we got a 13 megapixel camera with autofocus and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now, in the front, there's a 5 megapixel camera. Now, as far as video, the NUU N10 can shoot up to 1080p 30 frames per second on the rear and a 720p 30 frames per second on the front. Now, powering the NUU N10, there's a huge 5,000 milliamp battery. Now, this device is running Android 14 to boot, and the price, mind-blowing, $99. That's right. For a 90 Hz display, 128 gigs of storage, SD card supported. You know what? It has a headphone jack. Oof. $99. SD card support, Android 14, a fingerprint scanner, a 90 Hz display, 5,000 milliamp battery, and this stylish, sleek design, lightweight, feels good in the hand, beautiful display. And you know what? This device costs $99. Wow, but that's what I'm talking about. So as we talk about the display, it has a nice, beautiful 6.6-inch 1620 by 720p 90 Hz display. Now, it's not the brightest in direct sunlight. The colors are okay. Look, I did a display tester, and this is a true 90 Hz display, which is really good. And you can drop it down to 60 Hz and use auto mode if you want. So in my testing with 90 Hz, the battery life has been great. Now, as far as performance, right? Performance is okay. Now, it does get a bit choppy when playing games like Call of Duty Mobile, but I did play, my favorite game, and it worked just fine. Now, navigating through the OS, it gets a bit choppy here and there, but the T606 processor with 4 gigs of RAM is okay. It's definitely maxing out. But again, this phone costs $99. Look, you can't expect flagship $1,000 performance out of this device. Right? And I know the theme in this video, right? Mind-blowing price with awesome features. But when you go over the device, it does mimic, some fruit company that we all know and love when it comes down to the design. But it does have a nice, solid, build quality here that's really good. Now on the back, it's a plastic bag, just so you know, right? Don't creak that much. But overall, it's built really good here. And you get SD card support, which is really nice. Now, this is a GSM device, and I got it on T-Mobile, and I could put it on Mint Mobile. Now, this is a 4G LTE device, just so you know. But let me show you some footage of me playing games with this device. So check this out. So let's go to do some gaming here on the N10. And looking at the display looks really good here, guys. So, and I got it on the 90 Hz display, and The gameplay seemed to be really, really smooth. And you got to remember I'm using RAM expansion, which is a little over 8 gigs of RAM. So I'm definitely using RAM expansion on here. Now, as far as the device is getting a little warm, by the way. But as far as the gameplay, I'm not seeing any issues here. Very, very smooth gameplay so far. But yes, the device is getting just a little tad warm, just so you know. So no drop frames so far. I know I was playing some Call of Duty Mobile, and I was getting just a little hair of top drop frames on there. But playing this game right here, not getting too much of drop frames. So yeah, can it play games? Yes. Now, would you get the cleanest game experience out of a $100 device? You would get okay, right? You won't get the best. Kind of turn it down a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, the speakers, even though it's a mono speaker, it is pretty good here. So as far as gameplay, no issues here with the new mobile N10. All right, guys, so this is going to be the new mobile N10, the $99 device that I really like. I've been using it for a few weeks now to do a lot of testing. And one of the things that it has is a 90 hertz display. That's kind of unheard of devices at this price point. But I always like to test it because I got devices that has 120 hertz that doesn't resonate to 120 hertz. So let's test it. Here we go. 90 hertz. We have auto mode and we have 60 hertz. So let's go to the test the 90 hertz with my refresh tester to make sure that it's a true 90 hertz display. So this is going to be the refresh tester that I always use to see if devices is exactly what they say they are. So here it is, right? 90 hertz. And as you can see, it's going to say 90 hertz. And so this is a true 90 hertz refresh rate, which is fantastic for a device like this, which is absolutely marvelous, right? So here we got 90 hertz, and let's go to and switch it and see if it's going to drop down to 60 hertz. All right, so now we got it on 60 hertz. Let's see, going back to the refresh tester, and let's see if it's going to drop to 60 hertz. And yes, it does. So it drops down to 60 hertz. So fantastic refresh rate that this device has, a 60 hertz display, and you can go up to 90 hertz, which is really nice. Okay, so let's talk about the cameras here on the new N10. 13 megapixel main, 2 megapixel macro, and you know, I can tell you that the still footage is okay, right? When you talk about the video, there's no stabilization, so which I expected. You're gonna see a little jump in this here, but at the price point, look, you don't get optical image stabilization at $100, but you do get really good stills here. But I do have some issues with the cameras here. Let me show you some footage and some of the issues that I have with the camera app itself. So check this out. All right, guys, so this is the new mobile N10. And one of the things I want to show you guys in this part of the video with the cameras is some things work and some things don't work. As I showed you guys some of the footage, but I do want to talk about some of the software things that I'm seeing here, and maybe some software issues that new mobile could fix. All right, so here it is, right? This is going to be the normal capture, which is fine, right? You go into Pro mode, which a lot of these devices do have Pro mode, right? So if you go into Pro mode, you got your autofocus, which works fine, right? So your autofocus works fine. Well, your manual focus works fine, right? And you can go into manual focus, and you can get out here and go to autofocus, and it will focus just fine. You have your white balance and everything else in between, right? But one of the things I'm finding here is you go to portrait, right? Usually portrait, it gives you that blurry effect, right? The background is blurred out. And one of the things that I'm seeing here is that the new mobile does have a slider to go from f16 to f0.95, and it actually doesn't work. So right now, the background should be totally blurred out because I'm at f0.95. If I go to f16, everything should be in focus, right? And as I'm focusing on the object, if I go to, again, if I slide it all the way down to 0.95, nothing's happening here. So it's nothing happening here. So that's one thing that NUU Mobile could probably fix. Now, one of the things I do want to show you guys is that it does have night mode and it does have macro. Now, when you click on macro, I mean, the image gets just blurred out, but here's the thing, it's a 2-megapixel camera. And I do understand macro, you got to be real close on it, which, you know, right there, it does a very good job, but it's totally overexposed. And it's no way to fix that. So it's no way to fix that. There's no settings to fix that. So when you look at it, once you get really close on it, it looks really good, but it's definitely overexposed. And again, it's a 2-megapixel camera. So you're not going to get that much good detail of it, just so you know. Now, one of the things I want to show you guys is that the slow-mo effect doesn't work that well at all. So if I play it on device, it starts off fast, and then it's going to go into slow-mo. And once it goes into slow-mo, as you can see, it's definitely dropping frames. So the slow-mo doesn't work that well here. It dropped frames big time. So this is kind of unusable footage. And I wouldn't use this at all. Just, you know, taking a look at it, and even if I wanted to use this footage, I couldn't use this footage. Okay, so here's my conclusion and some pros and cons with the NUU N10. First, the pros. $99 to boot, brand new, right? And you get a lot of stuff with this device. You get a case, you get the screen protector, the device itself, you get a charger in the box, headphone jack. Can't complain about that. The next pro is the build quality. It's a beautiful design with a metal side, right? Plastic back, but a metal side. And again, case, screen protector, got you covered out of the box. The next pro is a 90 Hertz display. Absolutely amazing. How could NUU Mobile put a 90 Hertz display on a $99 phone? And it's a true 90 Hertz display. So that's definitely a pro with this device. Okay, so let's talk about the cons. Right, first, it's a 4G LTE device. So this, so you know, it's not future-proof too much for me, right? The cameras, software is kind of need a software update, right? That's a con. It need a fix, because if you're gonna have software like for the portrait mode and it doesn't work, it's definitely something that I got to call out. So just so you know. And lastly, Android 14. I can tell you that a lot of these devices is one and done. Hopefully NUU Mobile will update this device with some software updates. Even though it's on Android 14, so what? We need Android 15, and we need some software updates to fix some of the issues that I pointed out in this video. Also, we got to make sure that we get security patches for a little bit with this device. So those gonna be my pros and cons with the NUU Mobile N10. So the NUU Mobile N10 is a device for the person that want a great phone for under $100. It does the basics very well. Photos and videos is okay, but it gets the job done. I will leave all product links down in the description below if you want to check it out. This is the Tech Preacher. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the NUU Mobile N10 in all its glory. See you guys on the next video. Peace.